Okay, so as I mentioned, we're going to start with just using a print template to create our custom brushes here. Our units should be in inches. We should be seeing 8.5 by 11, and we'll call this brush demo. All right, and as the video indicated, we're going to start with an ellipse. Now, this size of this ellipse, you want to keep on the smaller side because it is going to kind of create the brush size that you have, and you know, if you're trying to do some smaller detail, then that's gonna, if you have a really big brush, then you're not going to get that detail. So actually, let's see, this is the size, maybe we all do the same. Let's do it, this ellipse, 0.5 wide and 0.5 tall. All right, oh sorry, I guess that wouldn't work. Let's do half of that size, 0.25 tall. Nah, even less than that. Thinking about my my math on this stuff. Bless you.
There you go.
There we go. All right. So 0.5 wide, 0.0625 tall. I think that will be a good size to work with on our brush. All right. Everybody, you probably can't see my size there, right? So let's, I'll put in a little, the height is 0.0625. So 0.0625 for H. And I'll just say, just in case you missed it. All right, anybody need help creating your ellipse at that size, Ray? Sorry. Based on that, we could probably almost ignore the height that I had here then. Let's really squish this kind of as they're doing here. And so actually, you know, I'm just going to take this height out. I know you guys did that, but let's really make this kind of squished here, and then we're going to go. I'm going to zoom in so I can really see this, and then we're going to use the Convert Anchor Point tool, which actually should show up on the top. So let's see. I think if we press Tab, no, that gets rid of that. There we go. So if you didn't have that bar on the top there, you go to Window and press Control. That's showing all this stuff on the top. But if we just click on this Convert Anchor tool, Anchor Point tool, which is grouped with the pen, we can do the same thing here. All right. So now that they're not curved, they are just pointed points on the end there. All right. So I should be seeing you have this ellipse, which has pointy ends on there now. Looking at the video, so just examining a little more, it looks like they have a fill and no stroke on that. So you have this line that looks kind of solid going through there. It's got these pointy ends on it, kind of looking like that. So I think the width would still be good at 0.5. You just want to squish it really a lot and convert those end points.
Oh, so you're making it.
All right, so we have the shape selected. All right, and again, if you didn't catch it from the video, watch me demonstrate it, and then we can do it again. So we're going to go to our brush palette. All right, we're going to make a new brush. It is an art brush. And then in your colorization, we're going to select tints. All right, so now we have this new. I want to deselect that because that would be our initial shape. But now if I use my brush tool and select this brush, we see that we have this line, a very nice type of line that could be used for hair, right? It starts thin, it gets thick. And what I'd like to see also is just, you know, choose another color just to make sure you have that applied, and we'll just draw another line and we should have that. And we're going to put our description there with that. So it's a new brush. All right, I'm going to change this to here, and What type of brush was it?
Art brush.
Okay. And so it's a new art brush. And the what characteristic did we find that area for tint? What was that called? Colorization, right, equals tint. All right, so that'll be the next part, our next step here, right? So I do want you to have this little description in there also. So you have your original line, and then we have the brushed line that's created, and we have a description kind of how we did that. All right, to make this new line, we can just make a copy. What's the keyboard shortcut to kind of copy as you're dragging?
Control C.
No, we can do it quicker. Alt. Alt, left click, drag, right? We get a copy. You can do a Control C, Control V, but it's that much quicker just to press Alt and then do a drag. All right, so now to move this center point, and again, let's watch this maybe up here as I do this the first time, and then I'll do it again. So I'm gonna use my direct selection tool. I'm gonna click and drag to just, I got those points. I got my text box here too, because they're kind of overlapping. All right, so I'm going to use my direct selection just to select those in the middle, and then I'm just using the arrow key. All right, so you can see now that it's thicker on this end than it is on this end. All right, I'll do that again. So after I made the copy, I'm selecting the shape, and then I'm going to kind of draw a box around these middle points here. And then I just use the left arrow. And notice how these dots here in the middle are moving over to the left. Now, if you go too far, you can see that this point on the left, you know, we kind of create a weird shape here, which we could remove this, but maybe we just don't go that far. All right, and now we have this other brush, which I'm sure, hello. Sure.
Thank you.
Let's see what they do next. All right, so we're going to take this brush here. Well, how do we make a new brush? Brushes. Yeah, where'd my palette go? There we go. So the new icon, it's what type of brush? Art. We can name it Tapered 2. And colorization is tint. All right, so now we have this one, and if we use our brush tool to draw with this, we have it thicker on one end than the other, and then again, we can do, maybe we'll do green. This could be good for a landscape, for doing maybe grass or something like that. And I'll label this one here as tapered. All right, and that would be our second brush. All right, to get the square end for this brush, come on. All right, I'll zoom in here, and all we're gonna do is select our direct selection, select this point and delete, and now we have the end taken off of here. All right, I don't know what we call this, like square end or something, but we'll make our new brush. It's an art brush. It's colorized to tint. All right, now if we use our brush and we select this, no, I don't want to select that there. So now we have an end. That would be really good for eyelashes, as they say, right? I can draw another one or choose. We'll call this the Billy line. Anybody getting my pun? Billy eyelash? No? All right, making sure you guys are awake.
I'm sorry, that was awful.
It was awful. That's what all my jokes are. They're awful. We'll call this square end. I'm not going to call it Billy for. You can call it the Billy one if you want. All right. So that's we will after break. We'll try to do the next. There's one other extension we had of this, but this is what you should have up to this point. All right. So to start with that, we'll go back to our demo here to create this chunky line art. All right, we're gonna make our heart, and this will kind of maybe think about what we did using our pen tool. So where's the right one here? So just our standard pen tool. If we remember, we pressed the Alt key to move our handle up to the top. Then we went down to the bottom. We can kind of make another one, hold the Alt key, and you make kind of, if you think about how these handles look, they're kind of like V's, all right? And then I can come up to the top and then make something like this. All right, so this would be a very symmetrical type of heart. All right, which then if we switch to a stroke, no fill, we get something like this. All right, so this would be, you know, created with one pen, with one path, we'll say. All right, so that's all we did here, is that we made this heart going using the pen one continuous loop. All right, now you could go around and I'll kind of refresh your memory again. So if you're working with this and you forget how to use the pen tool to do that, again, we click and drag down from the top down to the right. Then we hold the control key, bless you.
Thank you, sir.
We move the second handle up to the top. So what that does is it kind of restricts your path or your curve. And then we go down here, we click and drag bottom left, hold the the Alt key, not the control. We move that handle back up, and then we connect with the last line there. All right, so that would be the first type of. Okay, so to make this chunky line art, we're gonna take this shape after we drew the heart, and then to get a more organic look to it, we can draw, and maybe what I'll do here is use a different color. Go back to black to start here. Deselect it. Now I can use my pen. I can choose a different color, switch it so I just see my line, and we're going to draw kind of on the inside and not try to get very close to the shape, because the whole thing with this chunky line art is that we want it to look a little more irregular, like that point size. So we'll continue to draw around, back to the beginning. You can use your direct selection to smooth it out a little bit at the end. All right, I'll fill this in. Now I can see the final. So we drew one shape inside the other. I'm going to make a copy of it just so we can see the before and the after. With them both selected, we're then going to use the Pathfinder, and we're going to say minus front, and there is our result there. And I believe that's going to show up as a compound path. Let's see if I'm right there. Yep, it creates that compound path when we do minus the front. So just to kind of remember what this is, we'll say this is our chunky line art. And to create that, we're going to draw the shape. Draw another one inside. And the final step is to use the Pathfinder to minus front. Alright, so that will give you a much more natural look to your lines than just using the other type of stuff we have there.